I've always heard stories of, people that made money or that came into huge amounts of money, maybe from an investment that went right or a business that, picked up, or even people that got inheritance, maybe from, those trust fund babies. And then you hear that they lost it. I mean, they squandered it in a few months. To me, it's crazy. Like, how can you be that stupid? I just felt like if I was in a situation like that, I would be able to double the money, triple itself. But turns out I was wrong. Money has its own spirit. I can't even lie. I was totally wrong. My name is Sewa'S, and I'm here to tell you the story of how I get money before. But my village people, they almost turned it into a grace to a grass story. When I was 25, I inherited almost 50 million naira from my grandfather. Give or take with inflation now, that's about 250 million naira right now. That's like $250 million. Wow. And you know how it usually is on Nollywood? The drama that surrounded this inheritance was a lot, and I mean it. I'm currently the only child of my parents, but we used to be 3. It was me and 2 older brothers who, I would tell you, they spoilt me silly. They always made sure that I was taken care of. I lacked nothing. Between them and my parents, being the last child, life was good, life was simple, life was nice. I didn't have a problem financially. Everything was taken care of. I just needed to ask and I would get it. So imagine how I felt when I got the news that both of my brothers had died in a car accident. Everyone refused to tell me anything. But the moment I saw the news and I saw the car, I just knew. I knew that one of my family members must have been involved in that accident. And I just needed to find out who. And I called my cousin Esosa, and she could not stop crying. She couldn't stop.
Esosa, talk to me, what's going on? Esosa!
We couldn't tell her. I mean, we couldn't tell her anything. How do you tell somebody something like that? If uncle and auntie don't say anything, am I the one to say something? It wasn't my place. She called and I was all over the place at the moment. I didn't say anything. I tried to keep it, but she knew. Somehow she just knew something had happened.
So imagine my shock when my parents finally told me that my brothers, both of them, were involved in an accident while they were coming back from work. So final year students celebrating from Uniben were doing a convoy and one of the brakes failed and it hit my brother's car head on. James died on the spot. And Peter, he died hours later in the hospital. Long story short, I traveled back to Benin that same week, and I spent almost a year mourning and grieving and trying to recover from the shock of losing my brothers. So, a few years have gone by and I'm coping with the loss of my brothers. You can't totally deal with loss, but I'm adjusting. But then another tragedy strikes. My maternal grandmother passed. But this is where the real drama starts. This is where it gets all interesting. You know the inheritance I told you about before? That's when it comes in. My maternal grandparents are from Edo, and Grandpa was loaded. I mean, he was really rich. He made his money from the 1970s oil boom. And for many years, there had actually been a rumor in the family that Grandpa had instructed Grandma to share his liquid cash amongst us, his grandchildren. And you know, the stocks, the landed properties, the assets were to be given to his children. So by the time Grandma died and, you know, the mystery will was revealed, or more, the rumors were really true.
So this is Mama's will.
My grandparents had left over 200 million naira for 15 grandchildren. So that meant that each of us was going to get roughly about 15 million naira. Although we weren't 15 grandchildren anymore, now we're 13 because of the death of my brothers. So automatically, I was giving my brothers shares, and that meant that I was inheriting almost 50 million naira, more than every other grandchild. And let me tell you, people were not happy. If you see the drama.
When one of our aunts was like, Sewa'S brothers' shares should be shared amongst all of us. Like they should divide it for all of us one by one. You needed to see her mother's clapback. Serious but her mom was like, for what? I mean, it's not making sense, it's not following. I can't forget that dish. It was epic. It was seriously epic.
My mom wasn't having it all. She gave it back to them hot. When I looked at my mom and I saw her fighting for me that day, I was so, I don't know if there's a word, if I can say I was so in love with my mom that day, but I was so happy. So that night, after hearing the will, my cousins and I now, you know, as the soon-to-be millionaires in town, we entered the club to pop bottles, to celebrate. But the way these people were popping bottles, at a point I started secretly judging them. This money has not entered though. What will they do when the money finally enters? Within a week, I just knew they were going to squander it. But me, you know, I thought to myself, I was going to do so well with this money. Like, they were going to be amazed. Well, here we are now. Turns out, I was even squandered Pro Max. I was on my way back to Lagos when almost 50 million naira entered my account. I couldn't believe it. It was like I was watching Nollywood. I found it so hard to believe. And don't even get me wrong. I told you, my dad always took care of my bills. I didn't have a problem with money. But then there's money. And then there's money. And I just got money. I went straight to the house, to a 2-bedroom apartment in Magodo that I shared with my friend Chioma. I didn't even tell her anything. No. I went straight to my room. I started strategizing one by one on how to spend that money wisely, as I thought. So I've always wanted to own a bakery. I loved the idea of making baked goods, and baking was that one skill that my friends always praised me for whenever they came around. Shewa, we need your cake. Shewa, we need just something that I make. And so it was not even a surprise that I decided that a bakery was going to be my first business. And after establishing that bakery, and I mean like the latest bakery in Yaba, I still had about 35 million naira left. I called my parents, hoping to get some financial advice because handling that huge amount of money is no easy thing. But they said they've seen videos, they've seen pictures from what I posted about my bakery, and they felt I was making smart money moves. So they were fine with my judgment. They trusted me, and they didn't end up giving me any advice. But honestly, I wish they had. So opening the bakery was actually very smart business move. Business was going fine, it was going great. And my friends, they were so supportive. From the start to the launch, they were just there for me. And then I actually thought about it. All work and no play makes Shewa a dull girl. I still need to relax more now. And my friends, I needed to thank them for all their support. And then the idea just came to me that an all-expense-paid trip to Zanzibar would not be too bad. But what I didn't know was that it was my village people that were whispering that idea to me.
So a mutual friend just started a new travel agency, and Shewa, being the Shewa that she is, wanted to support him, kind of like killing 3 birds with 1 stone. Support our friend with his new business, treat us girls to a nice trip, because we've been with her through so much. And yeah, she booked a trip for us to Zanzibar.
So I paid 6 million naira and it was a done deal. The trip was booked and we're ready. But that trip, it was like I used my hand to open the door and I invited my village people in. I mean, don't get me wrong, we had fun, but we burnt money. I can't lie. Even me, I know I did too much. I was just swiping left, right, and center. And you would think that maybe, okay, after the vacation had ended, I would leave the vacation high behind and, come back to the usual me. But even upon coming back to Nigeria, it was like sensible Shewa had walked out of the door and she wasn't ready to come back. It was just the luxury Shewa that was available. I had tasted the luxurious life, the high life, the soft girl lifestyle, and I wasn't ready at all to go back to the normal me.
Wow. You thought Zanzibar was bad? No. Shewa in Lagos was way worse. It was way worse. She was doing the absolute most. She would be shopping for new bags, new shoes that she did not need, by the way. New everything. She even got the latest iPhone. And she's buying all these expensive luxury products in dollars. In dollars. It was crazy. After all this, you think it's over? No. She quit her job. Yes, you heard me right. She quit her job. Anyway, like I said, we will listen and we will not judge. Couldn't tell her what to do with her money.
At the highest point, I was spending roughly about 1 million naira in a week. And in today's value, that's about 5 million naira in 1 week. And you would think that, okay, maybe my village people, they had done enough and they were okay with how I was spending recklessly. But you know what they say now? Money attracts money. And in all my luxury living and lifestyle upgrading, I made friends with influencers and the real trust fund kids. And when I tell you, it's about to get even crazier. And this is free advice. When you hang out with trust fund kids, it will wreck you financially. If you're not on their level, it will wreck you. And this is not to say that it does not have its good sides, because they were patronizing my business, they were tagging me, and their rich friends were patronizing me as well. But I was burning money trying to keep up with their level. After months of, living the trust fund kids lifestyle, spending money like there was no tomorrow, just living that soft life, then one particular Dubai trip was what finally showed me that if I continued like this, I was going to die poor and hungry.
You see that Dubai trip? I don't know what happened there. When my friend came back, it's as if somebody knocked sense into her. She just mellow. All the things just came to a halt.
I had been seeing the red flags, but I was just trying to, ignore them. But you see that Dubai trip? It was the final straw. And the funny thing is, one of those trust fund kids paid for my flight and my accommodation, so I saved money on that end. But just to get into the whole Dubai experience, the whole Habibi come to Dubai, the lifestyle, I spent over 10 million naira on shopping, food, the Dubai experience. And when you do the math, that's worth over 50 million naira today. The only thing that was remaining basically was for my grandparents to wake up from the dead and slap me so that my brain would be reformatted. I'm sure while I was doing all those things, they were rolling over in their grave thinking, is this what we died for? Shewa. What a waste. Dubai was such an eye-opener. It was just the perfect reality check that I needed. When we got back from Dubai, I had to invite Sensible Shower back into the door to please speak to Luxurious Shower so that she could come down from what I call my luxury highness. Because how could I start to explain that at the start of the year, I had almost 50 million naira, and in less than 6 months, I had only 2 million naira left. I didn't want to believe it. I couldn't even believe it.
Auntie and uncle found out about Sewa'S expensive lifestyle. I mean, I don't know what she was thinking, that they would not find out or something. It's not like she was making any efforts to even try and hide it. I have a feeling she thinks I was the one who said something, but I didn't. To date, we don't know. She called me, but my hands are clean. I didn't say a word. We don't know how they found out, but I'm not surprised. They had to, one way or the other.
Why did you tell mommy and daddy about my expenses?
When my dad found out, he cut me off financially. He said since I was spending money like I was Dangote's daughter or Otedolar's daughter, it meant that I was ready to foot my bills by myself. He stopped paying for anything that concerned me and said I should carry my cross. And at this point, my money had finished. So I just took myself and went back inside the house and focused on my business, because at least that's the constant thing that I had. So luckily, one of the guys that liked me back then, luckily, he was a tech guy, he helped me to upgrade the business and pushed my social media presence. So what that meant was that people could buy online and pay as well, and that helped sales very well. And then during this time, those my trust fund kids and the influencers, they were always reaching out to me, wanting to hang out and all of that. And I don't even blame them. I mean, I'm a vibe, while it lasted. And the ones that I used to patronize, they kept calling me back to back, telling me that they are doing sales and I should come patronize them. Me that was even trying to sell off the ones that I already had to see more liquid cash. Well, they will be all right. As for me, this indoors was very okay for me. So it's been a few years and thankfully things are going well. Business is good. I'm currently in a stable relationship with a rich kid, a real rich kid, not the fake rich that Luxury Shower was doing, an actual rich kid. And thinking back now, the honest truth is, if I hadn't had that honest conversation with myself and toned down on my spending, it would have been so easy for me to end up hungry, broke, and even out on the streets begging. Looking back now, it was fun, I'm not even going to lie. It's an experience that I would take to the grave because not a lot of people may be able to experience it. But I regret the bad financial decisions that I made. Having that kind of money was a good opportunity to have built generational wealth, but I ended up squandering almost 50 million naira in less than 6 months. I know they say lightning doesn't strike the same place twice, but if I was lucky enough to come across the same opportunity, this time around, I will not let my village people have it all. I will fight that war and I will make sure that I make better financial decisions.